today's episode, we're going to be finishing up this conversation about building a healthy volunteer team. If you missed the first two videos in this series, it'll definitely be worth going back through the archive to find the videos that we put out on retaining volunteers and recruiting volunteers. You also will want to go check out the podcast that we did featuring Josh Denhart. He gives so much insight and so much strategies, or so many strategies regarding building a healthy team. And specifically for that video or that podcast, he gave strategies for building your healthy security team. Now, the last couple of videos we've done on this topic of building a volunteer team has really kind of been for any volunteer team. However, this video is specific to security teams. And the reason it's specific to security teams is this video is going to be all about training your team. Now, before we talk about training your team and jump into this content too deep, I want you to take a moment to like this video and subscribe to this channel. After all, this channel is dedicated to providing tools, insights, and strategies for church leaders just like you who are looking to create communities that are inviting and secure. I've been in full-time ministry now for 20 years. Here's the thing. I know the struggle of ministry. I know the struggle of security ministry. However, I'm also bivocational. I'm a co-owner of a private security firm, and we specialize in private investigation and executive protection. What I'm saying is, I know the struggle of ministry and I know the struggle of security ministry, but I'm also saying I have answers for a lot of the security questions that you have. Instead of doing it all by yourself, use me as a resource. Use this channel as a resource to help you lead security in your community. So, you've built a retention plan for your volunteers. You're buying donuts, you're cultivating community within your team, especially doing that outside of Sunday. Your team is also growing because you've worked up the courage to talk to prospective volunteers face to face. And every time you talk to someone, your interactions are getting easier because you're getting in the reps. Now, you've got a team. Maybe you could use a few more, but still, you're doing better than you were, and you're seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. Now you at least know you're in a tunnel, not just a dark room with all the doors closed. Training is the third part of building a healthy team. Training your volunteer team isn't just about imparting knowledge. It's about building a cohesive unit that can respond effectively to any situation. See, a well-trained team is a confident team. Your team is confident about their roles. They know the procedures. They act swiftly and decisively, which is crucial in maintaining a safe environment. Training also helps build trust among your team members. It ensures that everyone knows their role and everyone can rely on each other to do the thing that they're supposed to be doing. I know a lot of people go straight to thinking about active shooter training when I mention security training. But active shooter training is not synonymous with security training. And it's actually one of the last types of trainings that I recommend your brand new team takes part in. Before active shooter, or active attacker as we like to call it, I recommend running a radio communications training day where you instruct your team how to operate your two-way radios, and you give them some etiquette policies that they can go over and understand why it's so important to do certain things, why it's so important not to say everything over the radio. Even though you're supposed to have your earpiece in, not everybody is going to have an earpiece in. If your team can't communicate, they're going to struggle with most emergencies. Beyond radio communications, I really recommend doing a Code Adam training day. Now, Code Adam is a method by which we can find kids or locate kids. It's a method that was designed by John Walsh of America's Most Wanted, the old TV show. It helps businesses find lost children before something bad happens, or even before they get abducted. We do a full Code Adam training day once a year, and that's with everybody that's a part of our team. That's our security team. That's what we call our HUGS team, which HUGS stands for hospitality, ushers, greeters, and security. That's our entire team as one umbrella team. Now we get everybody together. And why do we get everybody together? Because the more people we have on the team, the more efficient we are going to be. I also invite my daughter. I've got a 6-year-old little girl. I invite my daughter, and then we invite a couple other of her friends to be a part of the training, because we need kids to look for. We need kids that we can describe, and we might even change their identity a little bit. We might throw a jacket on, or we might change the way that they're dressed, just so when we're using our radio communication to tell everybody on our team that there's a little girl, she's wearing a pink hoodie. Maybe we switch out the pink hoodie and we put her in like a blue t-shirt. And we just do that so that we keep our teams, we keep them honest, right? We want to make sure they're not just going through the motions, but they're actually getting in what we consider real repetitions. Other training days that we host are first aid and CPR training days. And maybe your church has a budget to put a certain amount of people through that every year. Maybe your church doesn't have a budget to pay for everybody's certifications. However, what we found is people just really appreciate having the opportunity to go through these trainings, even if it's not free. Beyond CPR training days, we do run, hide, fight drills, which is a protocol for how to respond to any violent threat. We even do cybersecurity training where we educate our staff and leaders and some volunteers about very real cyber threats that churches are facing today. Training is important. Training is important because it gives your team confidence, and confidence is the enemy of hesitation. And when there's an emergency, there is rarely room for hesitation. If you have a new team and you're looking to run a training day, but don't know where to start, comment training day in the section below. And before you go, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of this valuable content. Thanks so much for joining me for another video on the Lead Church Security YouTube channel. We'll see you in the next one.